out. There's no magic, no electronic, code, nothing. You do it, it's just analog and word.
So is that before or after the master?
This is, we haven't amplified yet. So before we were talking about a DAC, now we're talking about amplifiers. I'm sorry, I need title slides. In the DAC, I'm sorry, the DAC will still do this. The DAC will still do this. After it gets this wave, the square wave, after it gets its approximation, at the end, it's going to be like, perfect, now we have our approximation, pass it through the low pass filter, and put it out. We're going to look at an amp that does the same thing in a slightly different way. But that's how the low pass filter works.
What if the wave is like a square wave or like a saw wave? That is like hard edges.
It will do different things, but the wave that we're going to pass through is going to be a square wave because we've approximated it to be that. Does that make sense? Our pulse width modulation has like a standard, and it's going to look like a square wave that's being turned on.
I thought we were approximating a square wave into a sine wave in this case.
So what we did before was the opposite, where we took what we knew we wanted and put it into a pulse width form, and then once we took the pulse width.
Because like bits and stuff and digital is basically all square waves, right?
Right, so let's look at this picture, this one here. The square wave is actually being turned on and off at a rate that approximates this wave. Approximate isn't what I want, in codes. It is this wave. Once you pass it through the filter, it is the wave. Digitally, it doesn't have amplitude, right? It's just a fixed 1 or 0. But when you put it into an analog version, which is why I mentioned that before, you can have analog and digital PWM, and basically all it means is that the 1 is at a different level, different voltage level. So 1 is analog can be changed, and digital is fixed. So the output that we get.
So you can put that step wave through a low pass filter and get the sine wave, right? Basically,
You can put
the two example ones, yeah.
This one has nothing to do with the low pass filter. This, only the bottom one is what we're looking at. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So this one, you put this through the low pass filter if it's the right amplitude, and it will go into this wave here. So let's go back to
PCM
this.
is used more.
Yes. But hold on.
I mean, you could also filter the other one.
We have the PCM wave, so the green wave here is a PCM encoded wave. So in this case, we are generating a PWM wave, which is the square wave at the bottom, but we're doing it using a PCM wave. It doesn't actually matter. All we need to know is a representation of it. If it's already stored as a PWM wave, perfect.
Okay.
Put it through a low pass filter and put it out. Great. That's why that format is amazing. That's why people like it. All you do is put it through a low pass filter and it's done. You change the amplitude to what you want, you put it through the low pass filter and it's done.
Why don't you store it if you don't know?
Because people don't like to do that because it's bad for mixing. It generally is, you have to have a super high sampling rate, which can affect file size. I believe it's more. And it also is harder to transmit. Or actually, people say it's easier to transmit, but it doesn't lend itself to all the techniques that we like to use with the bits, specifically mixing. And it doesn't lend itself as well to compression, which is something we like to do a lot. You can't compress this as easily as you can when you have the bits, and you can tell how loud something is easily with a straight value. So running an algorithm on this, you have to convert it. You essentially have to convert it to PCM, do the thing, and then convert it back, which is what happens if you're trying to store it like this. But the benefit is that you throw it through a low pass filter, and it is now analog audio done. Great. But given a PCM interpretation of a wave, we can digitally know what we want it to look like and compare it to the analog that we're dealing with. So we have a digital one, we know we want it to look like this when it's done in analog. We take the analog one, we guess, and we keep throwing it at our guess at the green wave, and getting those errors, and doing the integral, all that stuff. And then eventually we get one that looks pretty damn close. And we are able to put it out without having to, and then once it goes out, it will hit the low pass filter and be like a full sine wave. Please tell me that makes sense. or tell me it doesn't, that's fine.
It says you take like the integral, is it integral over what?
The integral of the difference of the green wave and the errors.
The errors are the red.
Oh, I'm sorry, the integral of the difference of the green wave and the bottom, which is the errors. So essentially it's the integral of the errors. And you can see where it's red is where it is triggering the PWM because it is over some constant value that we've predetermined.
So this happens after that.
This happens inside of the DAC.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I need title slides. This happens inside of the DAC, okay? And then when we get to amplifiers, we'll use PWM to amplify as well. But that happens inside of the DAC. Everything we talked about for that is in the DAC.
But use the low pass filter in the DAC as well.
Yes, the low pass filter is very important for taking that square wave and making it a sine wave.
So the low pass filter is like the very last step.
Very last step, you don't do it until you're done with your approximation.
Well, it's the very last step of the DAC.
Correct. Very last step of the DAC. So DAC is
Why
about
is
to
it the
output.
end of the?
Your phone is going to put audio out to your headphones, and right before it does it, it puts it through a low pass filter. Make sense?
Okay. Your presentation flow is just.
Yep, we got messed up. I'm sorry. I'm bad. Not as good as I should be. Okay, let's because we're quickly running out of time here. We've covered almost everything. Let's talk about how these harmonic distortions that we looked at before. Does this still make sense? If it doesn't, please tell me.
So what's the thing about 1/3 of people prefer one to the other?
Oh, so they tested.
That's only 2/3.
So audiophiles claim that they want second harmonic distortion. It's better, and then they tested these people and have them listen to the distorted waveforms and pick the ones they like the best. 1/3 said they liked the second order, the second harmonic. 1/3 said they liked the third harmonic, and 1/3 didn't have a preference or preferred both.
Okay.
That was just an interesting study. I got a little lost because I'm just trying to get this point across. All right, now let's watch this cool video about. Let's watch this cool video about how these harmonics are actually sounding.
C represents an fourth harmonic is again an octave higher.
So you can see
So you
here's
can see
all the
that
harmonics.
doubling in frequency represents an octave. The 7th is an unrelated pitch, and the 11th again is an unrelated pitch. And that simply means that our ears really can't relate a pitch to it. Let's take a listen at the harmonic skill of this A2 note.
Oh, you can't really hear it.
So in this project, I'm going to take a look at the fundamental frequency, and I'm going to take a look at the instrument sound, and I'm going to compare that with a frequency analyzer so we can see the harmonics.
So it's supposed to be playing 110, but when the instrument actually plays it, it has a bunch of other forms too. And that's music, like that's just how it gets played because of the way it's vibrating. You can see there's a main wave, but then
You've
there's a
just
bunch of
seen
other
that the
stuff too.
distance between an A2 and an A3 is a doubling in frequency. This is called
I don't think we care about that part. We mostly care about. Here's one more that we like. So here is directly relevant to us. This is what happens when you run through an amplifier.
In the specifications of a device, this is referred to as THD, or total harmonic distortion. I'm going to perform a test where I'm going to run a sine wave through a compressor in this case, and I'm going to use the TL Audio compressor, the 5021, and it's completely neutralized, so it's not compressing or doing anything. I'm just running the signal through it.
You can't really hear it because it's too low from the speakers. When I listened to this earlier, it sounded great.
That is
That's pretty good, though.
what an
Is that your-
electronic device
Here,
does.
let's go again. So you can see the harmonic waves being
So that is
after it's put through the device. So first he plays it, and then he plays it after it's been put through the device. And you can see the second and third harmonics are very prominent after it's been put through the device. It didn't change anything. It still used the MOSFET to like put the signal from the input to the output, right? So it's not like the wire went straight through the device or anything, but it didn't change the signal. It didn't amplify it more. It didn't take it down. Just put it through. Question? No? Okay, someone just unmuted. So, yeah, here's transistors versus tubes, we mentioned this earlier. Transistors sound colder because they add odd harmonics. Tubes sound warmer because they add even harmonics, and that's just how our ears work. It's
Wait,
not,
what? I don't think that's true.
yeah,
They're the same.
no, no.
Functionally,
Functionally, they're the same, but one changes the sound more good. Have you ever listened to a tube amp?
yeah.
Yeah, they sound way different than
No,
transistors.
in practice, yeah, maybe it sounds.
Yeah, in practice, it sounds totally different because the problems that you see with the tubes or valves, depending on where you're from, is different than the problems you see with the transistors. The non-linearities are different. Make sense?
Yeah, it's just a misleading
I
slide.
thought people can't like tell the difference.
Between tubes and transistors?
Oh, you definitely can tell the difference.
Sure.
I'm 100% sure.
I can, but
You definitely
I
can.
don't know.
Maybe you need a
Probably.
very tubey tube to be able to do it, but you should be able to, or at least audiophiles do. They yell about
They
it.
say they can.
It's supposed to be pretty prominent. I don't know if I've ever actually listened to it, but
It's like wine tasters.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is. Okay, let's quickly go into just amplifier classes. This will be the end of the presentation. It's honestly,
Alright, is that good poop or bad poop?
oh, what the hell, Google? They killed my emojis. Alright, well, we have class A, that's the good stuff, we like that. We have class B, poop, class AB, class C, poop, and class D, which is also Class D is the most common. It's the one that's used in your phone. It's the one that's used all the time. It's what you listen to in your laptop. It's generally your life, and I feel sorry for you. Sorry. So let's talk about the best and then go to the worst. And here we have the class A. This weird thing here is our MOSFET that we already talked about. Here's the gate coming in. That's this input signal. And here's the output signal, which is coming out of the drain. Here's the source, going through, drain, and then out. Make sense? Perfect. So,